Hey people, so I'm gonna give you some tips and some options for designing icons in Gravit, just in case your crazy art teacher decides to give you this assignment for designing icons for the four elements, earth, fire, air, water. Uh, Here are some options. So these are my examples. Even though these two are both kind of earth, I would have to make one for wind to make all four. But yeah, general tips for making icons, designing icons is consistency and simplicity. There's simple graphics that represent different things. So you do want to keep your edges kind of nice and clean. You don't want jiggy edges. And again, just consistency. Like this one only has one of these little landing donuts. I would fix that. I would make, them all have the same amount of, or the same size landing. And borders are another thing that you have to kind of keep an eye on. This one really pops out because it's the only one with a border. I normally just trash all the borders, select over everything, trash the borders, just to, like I said, keep it consistent and keep it clean. Again, they're supposed to be simplified, so you don't want to maybe clutter them up with borders around all your shapes. So yeah, let's get into a couple other options. Like I'm showing you like the landing donuts. The other option is putting a graphic within an ellipse or a circle. So let me show you that kind of quick. Um, some people like to add gradients to their ellipses. That's pretty easy. It's just in the color fill. You change color fill to linear gradient, and you can not linear gradient, radial gradient. You could do either one. But yeah, you like select a color node and then change the color up, and there you go. You have a little bit of variation, color variation within the ellipse, and then you can like kind of stick your graphics like right in there. If they're above, they might show. Right, there we go. So yeah, that's one thing that you might consider doing. But I'll show you the landing donuts that I was making real quick. Assign a color. So that's just an ellipse, and you copy paste it. So there's one pasted right on top. Here, I'll change the color so you can see it. And yeah, so I just like scooted up that duplicate, so it's thinner at the bottom and thicker, or excuse me, thinner at the top, thicker at the bottom, and then select both and cut into them with subtract. That's like a little landing donut. If you wanted to give like a little bit of extra space between, your landing and your graphic, you could always cut a piece off, select it, delete it, and now, your raindrop has enough room around it. So yeah, those landing donuts work well, and just pendants kind of work well. The one thing you might consider is the alignment tools. To get it to be perfectly aligned, you have to use these alignment tools. So let's get this together, group those two, right? And you might sit here and try forever to align them. There's tools for that. So select what you want to align, and here's align to center and align to middle, and the computer will find the exact center of both of them and line them up. So yeah, those are like little pendant logos. The other thing you do is clip them within. So I've like my raindrops are clipped within this circle, right? You can see them all right here, all these paths. So yeah, let me show you what that might look like. That's my ellipse, and let's see if I can make like a wave kind of quick with the pen tool. Okay, oh, and fill it with the blue and trash the border. And of course, you want to spend some time and like kind of clean up your edges. Get in here with the direct selection tool, and make these little adjustments. They do really make a difference. And if you do one, then you can duplicate it and use that to your advantage. Let's spend just a couple more moments for the sake of time, kind of making my wave not look too bad. All right, so that's kind of like what I got for my wave. And I'm just gonna duplicate it, holding down Option, right? And then I have 3 of them, and duplicate the duplicates, maybe change the color, and oh, wait, hold on. Can I do this? And then make a linear gradient, right? Ooh, it's trying to make the top white. Can I do that? If I make this side white, oh, can I move this one down? Anyways, that doesn't look like too terribly off from waves of water. But yeah, I was gonna stick them within this pendant to show you just like clipping. Got all those right on top of my bluish pendant logo, and select everything, and you'll see this is the ellipse. These are all the paths that are selected, and when you hit the clip button, all these paths are going to go within the ellipse. You can still move them around, but here's the ellipse, and now I have all these paths. You can select each individual path and move it around too. And yeah, they're all like clipped nicely within there. You can always like take them out, put them back in. This might be a good way to make like a little earth, like if you're trying to make like a planet. Um, that's an option. But my earth logos or icons tend to be like these little rock things. And we just make like a jagged kind of rock shape with either the pen tool or the freehand tool. Right? And delete the border, assign a fill. And so my first way of doing it is like using ellipses and kind of like using subtract to cut into it. So just like make an ellipse, duplicate it with option a couple times, just to make it like a little bit more jagged. And then select over all of them and hit subtract. Yeah, so that also works good with clouds. The other thing that you might consider doing with like rock is cutting part of it and making one side a little bit darker. Like mountains are always going to have, rocks are always going to have, everything's always going to have a light side, a dark side. So let me see if I can use the same one, right? So that's my original rock shape, and I'm just going to cut it in half with a knife tool. If you just click and drag with the knife tool, it's going to cut like straight line. But if you hold down option, you'll be able to cut like zigzags. So that's what I'm going to do, is just cut through here with the zigzag. And yeah, then I can select the one side, make this one side a little bit darker, and there's like a rock icon that, you know, you could stick within a pendant, like this guy right here, or you could put like landing donuts on it, or maybe if you wanted to put a triangle or something else behind it, it's kind of up to you. But you know how to use subtract, you know how to use the knife tool to cut pieces, like I did this one a couple times. You know, you can cut and cut. You like select both of these, and then cut a, whoops, oh, let's hold down option. Hold an option to make a direction handle and a curved cut. Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Let's try selecting it, both of them again. Holding down option, making the direction handle, and making the curved cut. Oh, still didn't work the way I wanted. Nothing ever does. Well, I tried. Let's see. Now you can select both of those, make them white. Now I have a little pinnacle. So yeah, there's a couple options, and then one last thing, I was gonna do air. Of course, you can, you know, make compound shapes just by making ellipses and curved rectangles, and you know, you could cut into them with you know, shapes just like I did with the rock. But to make kind of like this poofy or kind of curved line, it's really just like an open circle. This might be a good option for wind. Here we go. We'll just going to make a circle and delete the fill, but give it a border. Let's give it a 10-point border, make the border white. And when you convert it to a path, you'll see right away there's this option right here for closed. So you want it to be open so you can, it's not continuous. So you uncheck closed. If it was checked and you went with the pointer tool, excuse me, sub select tool, and you deleted one, it's still going to be a closed path. It's going to make that connection for you. So you want to make sure that with the regular pointer tool, you uncheck closed. And again, I don't like the hard edges, that squared off edge, so I change them to round. And that's basically like the poofy part of the cloud shape for air. And let's add a line right next to it. Give a little bit of movement. And yeah, that's it. You can duplicate that and just make it a couple of these. Whoops, Command C, Command V, and move it over. But again, like if you're duplicating these and scaling them, like it is going to not scale proportionally. You see like they get closer and closer, the smaller and smaller you get. So once you get what you like and it's proportional, you're going to want to vectorize the border. And now when you scale, everything will scale proportionally. You can scale it down, move it over, group it, duplicate it again and again until you have some kind of shape for wind, right? Might scoot some of these up and down so you can see the space between. But yeah, that's my idea for a wind icon. Again, you can like stick this within a pendant or try to give it like a landing. And yeah, hopefully that gave you a few ideas for creating icons in Gravit.